I just wanted to say happy 50th birthday. Well, thank you. How does it feel to be 50 today? And being in a rut financially speaking before and getting out of that completely? Are you proud to be where you're at right now, Frater, after all the hard work and dedication of consistency you've put into yourself? You don't have to answer my questions, but I would just like to request for you someday, maybe you can make a video about yourself on YouTube of when was the turning point that you said enough is enough. I, Frater, am going to get out of this money rut you were once in. And that's it. I just think a lot of people can learn a lot from that if you're willing to share and make a pretty detailed YouTube video about yourself. Because I've learned a ton from you, and I believe many would too if you choose to do it. Okay, well, I appreciate your curiosity, but that's not the way it went down at all. I didn't say, oh, I'm going to take a stand and I'm finally going to make some money. That's not how it happened at all. I did not get into magic for money. I mean, it comes along with the package, but it's not specifically why I got into magic. I had turned to magic seriously because I had dabbled before, but I turned to it seriously to regain some control in my life. Not specifically money per se. It's amazing what you can do when your back's to the wall. Now, I believe I've gone over my background at some point before, but I suppose I can go over it a bit quickly again to show how I got here. Okay, at the beginning I was a very bright kid. I always wanted to learn, would always ask questions, drive my parents nuts, especially when it came to reading. I would watch a lot of Sesame Street and the Electric Company, and basically taught myself to read. I was reading third grade level by kindergarten, and by third grade I had won a national readathon and won a trip to Florida. In fifth grade I won a trip to Worlds of Fun in Kansas City for memorizing Bible verses, of all things, through the church that my parents went to at that time. By seventh grade, I started getting into drugs and started turning bad. Started having a lot of issues around that time. So what happened? Well, spoiler alert, nobody likes the smart kid in the class. So I faced constant bullying. I only had like a couple friends and that was it. Grade school was bad. High school was worse. I quickly found out in high school that not even the teachers or faculty had my back. In fact, a couple of them actually encouraged the bullying and would laugh and snicker when it would happen. I had one biology teacher who was also the basketball coach who had approached me earlier before I got his class. He wanted me to try out for basketball because I was so tall, but I had absolutely no interest in it. I didn't like being in school to begin with because of all the bullying. The last thing I want to do is stay longer to play something that I didn't care about. Well, when I got his biology class, and he took me aside one day because I didn't play basketball for him, and told me that no matter what I do in this class, he's going to fail me. I went down to administration and tried to get it changed. They said it was too late. I was stuck with his class. So I just stopped going. What was the point? If he's going to fail me anyway, why be there? And I fell in with the quote-unquote bad crowd, but they were the only ones who didn't bully me or give me any grief. You know, the burnouts. All the bullying came from the popular kids, the jocks, the cheerleaders. Now, I have Mars in Scorpio, which I wouldn't know that at the time, but Mars in Scorpio rages under the surface until it explodes, which I had been known to do, like in the middle of class even. It got to the point where the ones who were bullying me got scared of me. There was one time somebody hit me with a rubber band in the middle of class, and it came real close to my eye, and I immediately got up, flipped his desk over, and started beating him down. The teacher was at the front of the class hitting the panic button. But, you know, hanging around the rough crowd, I got rough. I got mean. I got rebellious. And I got into a whole lot of trouble. Now, just to show you how bad and rebellious I got 48 hours of detention one time, like pretty much the rest of the semester, for smoking in health class, of all things. And we had a smoking area that I had permission to go to. There was really no reason for me to do that other than we had a substitute teacher and I wanted to take advantage of it. But I did a lot of stupid things and I would go on to do even worse things. And I'm not going to get into all of that. But along with doing bad things came a bad attitude. Is it any wonder that my life went to crap? When you shine bright, they move quickly to put out your light. You've heard it before, the tallest blade of grass gets cut first. It's absolutely true. And to this day, you can understand why I cannot stand bullies, no matter who they are. And that's why I don't like what's going on in this country right now. It's just a lot of bullying, all this deplatforming and censorship, and it's really all just bullying. You know, both sides, left and right, are just children right now, bickering back and forth. And we don't need children in charge of things. We need adults, people who stand for what's right and not use their power to bully and harass their opponents. And again, I'm not singling out anyone in particular, because this kind of thing happens on both sides. But it's really ramped up lately. I just cannot suffer bullies. I can't stand them. Now, that said, if I hadn't gone through all of that, if I hadn't have been bullied, if I hadn't have had my life go into the garbage can, I wouldn't be where I am today. Because if everything went fine, there would be no reason for me to even try magic to begin with. I certainly wouldn't have gotten into it, and I certainly wouldn't have helped any of you. It was all part of the divine plan, or destiny if you want to call it that. See, there's plans that you make for yourself, and then there are divine plans. And the more you fight against the divine plan, the worse it's going to be for you. Resistance is futile. See, I realize now that I had to go through that darkness. I had to know the darkness to show people how to find the light, because I'd been there myself. And this is why I have a special place in my heart for those who are really beaten down, the hard cases. I mean, I've had people ask me, why do I waste my time on them? Because I was them. And if I can turn things around after suffering all the hardships and all the hatred and anger that had built up and just being a completely miserable person, if I can turn that around to where I'm actually helping other people and making a difference in their lives, anybody can. I was down and out, and it progressed from there. There was really no one event that made me say, I'm going to change things around. No, it's just that I tried everything else. And turning to magic was my last hope. Probably should have tried that first. And I was pretty big into the conspiracy stuff back then too. So that's why I tell people not to get into that, because I know how messed up it can make you. Every rabbit hole that I went down ended up at magic and the occult or astral projection. And that probably had something to do with it, because I'm like, well, if magic works for them, maybe it'll work for me too. And it did. It did. But of course, since magic started working, and being who I was at the time, I was quite petty with it. And I think a lot of people are at first, but the real value in magic is the self-transformation process. I am nothing like I was before. And it is all thanks to that transformative process. That's where the real value is, because it brings you peace. Not just for now, but for everything that came before, everything that you had to go through. You can be at peace with that, knowing that you had to go through that to get to where you are now. So maybe some of you listening are going through a hard time. Just know that those who have been to hell make the best guides to lead people out. You can do it. In fact, you have to do it, because no one's going to do it for you. So you got to put in the work. And I know that if I can turn things around, then anyone can. Things may be dark now, but I have faith in you. Remember, there's your plan for your life, and then there's the divine plan, and they don't always match. This isn't what I envisioned for myself. I wanted to be on stage with my band, out partying and living it up. That's worlds apart from who I am now. And what I'm doing now is far more rewarding, because not only am I making a difference in people's lives, but many of them are doing complete 180s, complete turnarounds. And it's a beautiful thing. I want to thank you all for listening. Be sure to visit me on social media at all the usual places. I will have Rumble and Odyssey available soon. Be sure to visit the Teespring store. I got new Thoth Life shirts available, and they're looking pretty good. This is Frater Xavier. I got more on the way, so stay tuned, and I'll see you next time. Take care.